children, welcome to NEET World. This is Narayani, I am your foundation biology educator. In previous class, we completed the 8th standard chapter of microorganisms, friend and foe children, and today we are going to start new chapter from the 9th standard CBSE Tissues. It is the second chapter from the 9th standard CBSE children. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the tissues of the absolutely for the plant tissues. Okay children, so before we are starting the session, I would like to announce very important news for you. Here we are going to start the foundation summer camp course in the span of 15 days children. In the first 10 days, we are going to discussing with the core concepts which are related to the examinations of NEET and JEE. And next 2 days, we are going to focusing on the activity based learning. After 12 days, in the 13th day, we are going to conduct the quiz. Then you can analyze your before and after performance, and also we are providing the cash rewards for it. And in the 14th day, we are conducting the cumulative assessments of all subjects. We are going to deal with it. We are mainly focusing on the subjects of physics, chemistry, biology and mathematics. And at last 15th day, we are going to providing the career guidance program by one-on-one interaction. If you have a dream, you don't know how to achieve it, you don't know what kind of exams will be there. So in which subject you are more interested and what examinations you have, different kinds of examinations, and if you to reach the path, we will guide you further. In the 15th day, we are providing the entire information of your career children. So this is about our foundation summer camp children. We are using the digital panel and we are creating amazing videos to get to the concept to be understood for you, and the mode of learning is through only English for CBSE and SSC also English medium children, and it is both offline also and online also. For offline people, you can happily come to your institute name called NEET World, present in Narayana, Hyderabad. And those who want to join through online, down scrolling number is there, no children, please contact with that number. Then we will give you access on our app name called NEETWORLD. There you can happily access our classes children. This is about the foundation summer camp information children, and very important news, the first 1 week class are absolutely free. There is no need to pay at least 1 rupee in the span of 1 week. It is very useful for you children. So, recently also in NEET 2025, the foundation question directly asked from the 8th standard. So I already done a short for it children, please go through about that. So foundation, some of the questions which are directly which appear in the examinations of NEET and JEE also. So you can happily the basics which are very important, then you can crack that such type of questions children. So this is what we are designed our foundation summer camp children, and not only this children. In tomorrow onwards, we are starting the long term NEET long term course and JEE children. For the long term course available for both NEET and JEE also. So it is we are giving an offer children. So if you enroll the long term course of NEET or JEE, so you can you can access another examinations classes also, like TJ, EAPCET, EAPCET, BITSAT, iCard, that kind of exams you can access. So this is very limited offer children, please go through it, and it is very useful to you. So coming to the today's session children, so in this session we are going to discussing about the, so today onwards we are going to discuss about the chapter of tissues from the 9th standard children. From the 9th standard CBSE, it is a second chapter children, it is a second chapter. We are going to discussing about the introduction of the tissues, and then what is the types of tissues are there. So we are mainly discussing about the plant tissues. So what type of tissues are there in plant, and what are the differences of xylem and phloem, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue, the differences, right children? We will going to discuss elaborately in this today onwards in the chapter of tissues. So before I am starting the class, I would like to revise the previous concept children. So in the first chapter of 9th standard is cell the fundamental unit of life, right? So what is cell children? Cell is the basic structural unit of life. We all know it. So what is the connection between this, right? So we all know that cell is the basic and structural unit of life. So before going to about the tissues, so see, for example, I am giving you the, if you have a company, right? If you have a company, so they have workers will be there. So each employee or worker is a cell. Just I am giving you the example, children. So is the employee is a cell. Then it will be the departments will be there, no? Departments or else branches. So there are different branches, right? It to be tissues. Different branches is under the group of departments, right? They make, so different branches make the departments. That's departments we are considered in this as organs. So different departments make divisions. Different departments make, children, divisions in the company. Here it is a organ system. And these group of employees makes branches, right? The different employees, group of employees make different branches, we will allot it, right, children? So these employees make branches, and those branches, different branches make, the specific branch make the departments, and the departments makes the divisions. Likewise only, group of cells form tissues, and different tissues, each tissue makes the organs, and that organs makes the organ system, and finally these all make the company, right? Likewise this organ system make the organism. I hope you all clear about this, children. So there are different cells. We all know that cell is of unicellular and multicellular also. Cell is of it is unicellular and multicellular also. We are unicellular and multicellular. Of course, we are multicellular organisms, right? Unicellular organisms examples are protozoa, bacteria, right? Protozoa, bacteria, amoeba, yeast. These are all examples of unicellular organisms, right, children? So in these organisms, only single cell, single nucleus drive all processes, right? Like digestion, respiration, excretion. Only single cell drives all the operations, all the diverse life activities will be done by the only single cell. But it happens in the multicellular organisms? No, because multicellular organisms made up of trillions of cells, right? It does not happen, one single cell cannot control all actions, right? So they have the division of labor which should be there. So in the multicellular organisms, the cell division and the cell differentiation makes cell division and cell differentiation. Having the specific roles in the cell division. So to make the group of cells, the cell should be divided. Yes, no, children? So one cell cannot operate all diverse life activities. So in multicellular organisms, group of cells forms tissues. So that tissues are of different types, maybe as it is maybe the muscle tissue or nervous tissue or anything, muscle tissue or else nerve tissue, etc. The muscles having the in the movement, the function of the muscle is movement and the nerve is signaling, right? And they make the organ system like stomach, liver, heart and all that. Then it makes the organ system. that organ system makes the organism, which means tissues, the group of cells, which means the tissue have performing the various activities which leads to the formation of organs, and that leads to makes the formation of organ system, and that leads to formation of organism. Right children? So, in this multicellular organisms, mainly the cell division and the cell differentiation are mainly we are focusing about, because without cell division the cells cannot be the cells cannot be more in number. By the division only they become more in number. By the cell differentiation, which means the cell differentiation is nothing but the group of cells are forming together and the qualitative changes for the specific roles is happening. So, that is why cell division and cell differentiation are plays very key role in the multicellular organisms. So, let us see these children. So, tissues, what is meant by tissue? Tissue is a group of cells. Group of cells, because group of cells makes the tissue. Group of tissues makes the different kinds of tissues that leads to formation of organs. Those organs will form the organ system. Organ system makes the organism. Right children, the group of cells, which means tissue is nothing but the group of cells. The group of cells form the they allotted for the specific formation. That is nothing but the tissue is nothing but group of cells. Tissue is nothing but group of cells. Tissue is nothing but group of cells. So, here you can take another example also. If the brick, so collection of bricks will make the wall, and collection by the wall we can make the room, by the room we make the building, right? Then it will be the useful for the house or else the schools and all that. We can name it of it, right? That this is how the cells, group of cells make tissues, tissues makes organs, organs make organ system, and organ system makes the organism. Right children? It happens in this unicellular organisms? No, because the single cell drives all diverse life activities. So, it is occurs in the multicellular organisms. Right children? So, mainly we are discussing about the plant tissues. So, see here. So, they given if they ask the one word answer for the tissues, you can directly write like this. So, tissue is a group of cells, right? So, the group of cells makes the tissue, and tissue makes the organ, and organ make the organ system, and that makes to make up of an organism. In the plants also same like that way children. So, group of cells may be the parenchyma cells or collenchyma cells make the tissue. There are two types of tissues, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue, and the tissues makes the organs like root, shoot and all that. That makes an proper organ system, that makes an plant organism. This is how the makeup of the organism is happening children. So, here is given tissue is a group of cells, it is a direct statement, and tissues may be defined as a group of similar cells. That we have, if they ask the proper definition, which means group of similar cells and perform or help to perform common function with the similar origin. The similar function they are having and the similar origin they perform to help the common function and have the same common origin. If they ask the definition for the tissues, you can write tissues may be defined as a group of similar cells that perform or help to perform common function and they having the common origin. So, in these plants also having the different types of tissues, and animals also are having the different types of tissues. In the animals we can say the examples like muscle tissue, nerve tissue, like that. So, if they asked if the muscle tissue is absent, so if the muscle tissue is conducting the working of the nerve, so what will happen? So, the movement will be not occurs, right children? So, every tissue having a specific function that leads to form the different functions, and everything have the specific roles, and that leads to perform, they are coordinated together to function the organism, right? So, is the plants and animals having the same structures and functions? So, what is the differences between the plants and animals children? So mainly the plants can move, right? Is the plants can move? No, plants cannot move. So 1 minute. Is the plants can move? No, plants cannot move. Is the animals can move? Of course they are movable. They are mobile organisms. Plants cannot move. Plants cannot move. Is animals can move? Of course animals can move. Who need more energy? Plants need more energy or animals need more energy? Of course, plants need less energy. Plants need less energy. These animals need more energy because they are movable or mobile organisms, so they can need more energy. So they are stationary. Plants are stationary. They fixed at one place, and the growth of the plants are indefinite. Some plants grow like width, some plants grow height, so the growth is indefinite. But the animals having they are movable organisms, and they have the definite growth. Like in animals, the one hand is grow larger, one leg is grow larger. It should not be like that. It has a definite growth. It will be seen in the animals. We cannot see the definite growth in plants, and they cannot move. Then animals can move. Plants need less energy, and the animals need more energy. And the structural formation also more. Animals are more complex. In animals, it is more complex compared to the plants. Animals are more complex in a makeup. Children, in the system of function and all that, animals are more complex than plants. So let's see this. So in the tissues of the plants are mainly divided into two types of tissues. They are, plant tissues are of two types. So one it is meristematic tissue and another one is permanent tissue. So first, meristematic tissue. So meristematic tissue are actively dividing cells. These are actively dividing cells. They directly arise from the embryo. So in the multicellular organisms, it starts from the zygote, right? So the actively dividing cells, the meristematic cells arises from the embryo. So these are the actively dividing cells. They will, they involve in the actively dividing the cells and form more cells. So first, it doesn't have the specific role. So when these meristematic tissue, when they lose ability to divide and have the specific function, then it becomes a permanent tissue. And the meristematic tissue is of the three types. One is apical meristematic tissue, intercalary meristematic tissue, and lateral meristematic tissue. There are three types, children: apical, intercalary, and lateral. Apical means tip. Apical meristem is present in the plant at apex regions. Apex means tip. At the root tip or the shoot tip, they are divided because of they having the apical meristematic tissue at the top of the tips of the roots and shoots. And coming to the lateral meristem, children, it is present in the sides of the plants. It involves in the growth. To make the width of the plant, by the horizontal growth, lateral meristem involves, which means it helps in the growth. The cylindrical formation of the plants are due to the actively dividing cells of lateral meristem. And coming to the intercalary meristem, these are present at the nodes, either arising of the base of the lamina of the leaves, stems, because of this intercalary meristems. So after this meristematic tissue we are going to study, after that we are going to deal with the permanent tissue. One thing we can remember, children, when the meristematic tissue is ability to lose when their ability to divide, then it makes the formation of the permanent tissue, and the permanent tissues having the specific roles, having the structure and size also. So in the meristematic tissue, they are actively dividing cells, they are immature. So they are immature, so they are always involved in the actively dividing. So they are always participating to divide actively. So and forms the new cells. They are present in the apical regions or intercalary regions and lateral regions in the plant. So let's study this. So here they are given the plant tissues. This is the meristematic tissue, and when it is lose ability to divide, it becomes the permanent tissue. So cells of similar origin. So group of cells having the similar origin are grouped together to perform specific functions. Such groups are called tissues. So group of cells. So a group of cells form tissues, and each tissue having the specific function, and that performs the specific function. Such groups we call it as tissues. Every tissue having the specific function to perform. But at the same time, children, the different tissues coordinated together to perform the functions in the organism. So here they given, see children, at the same time different types of tissues of a plant functions in coordinated with one another on the basis of their ability to divide. Plant tissues are of main types. There were, what are the children? One is meristematic tissue, another one is permanent tissue. When they lose the ability to divide, they gives rise to this permanent tissues. And in the meristematic tissues are, they are actively dividing cells, children. So in this, when they have the similar origin, we call it as tissues. The tissues are having the similar origin, the group of cells have similar origin and perform specific functions, we call it as tissues. And that at the same time, different types of tissues coordinated together to function of a organism. Mainly the plant tissues are of two types. One is meristematic tissue and another one is permanent tissue. When these meristematic tissue ability to lose to divide, it becomes the permanent tissue, and these have the specific role. This performing the specific function, right children? So coming to the meristematic tissue. So here see children, meristematic tissue is of three types. What are they? Apical, intercalary and lateral. So apical meristem, if it is a plant, see children, the apical meristematic is present at the tip. Apical means, apex means tip. It is present in the roots and also shoots. That is why when you see the plant, the main part of the apex region will always be like opening. It is having the apex region, because they are actively dividing cells. Meristematic cells, meristematic tissue is nothing but they are actively dividing cells. So here the actively dividing cells always allows to grow higher in the plant, which against the geotropism, it always growth will be in the, it increases the height. In the roots, children, the roots are of to penetrate. Always every day we not pour the water to the plants, right children? So they have to penetrate into deeper to the soils. So there is the that actively dividing cells also present in the shoot, in the root. They also penetrate deeper into the soil, there they can absorb the water in the underground. So this is how the this is where the places of the apical meristem is present in the roots and shoots. Coming to the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is involved in the growth, in the widening of the plant, in the horizontal growth, children. In the horizontal growth it is involves, right? In the by the growth formation, the which is necessary, children, lateral meristem is the necessary. Coming to the intercalary, children, the base of the lamina, where the leaf is arising or the stem is arising, the branches are arising, it is a presence of intercalary meristem. So in the apex region it is presence of apical meristem, and the intercalary meristem is present in the nodes. It mainly involves in the elongation. The plant is reaching the height because of the having the intercalary meristem. Elongation is happening due to the intercalary meristem, and the growth is increasing due to the lateral meristem. This is what about the meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues, there are three types. What are the children? Apical, intercalary and lateral. Apical involves in the presence in the roots and shoots. It involves in the height of the plant, and they are actively dividing cells. The roots and shoots are the elongation will be done, and the intercalary meristem is present in the base of the laminas, arising of the branches, leaves, birds, whatever it will be involves in the intercalary meristem. And lateral meristem involves the growth. It involves in the horizontal growth of the plant. This is what about the meristematic tissue, children. Let's see what are the meristematic tissue having. So these are the meristematic tissue, children. These are the meristematic tissue, and these meristematic tissues are devoid of the vacuole as they are actively dividing cells. So they don't have anything. So they have the thin cell wall. These having the thin cell wall is made up of cellulose. And they having the prominent nucleus. As they are actively dividing cells, they have to do the cell division. So they are requiring of the prominent nucleus. Requirement of prominent nucleus. So there is no intercellular spaces, children. We cannot see any intercellular spaces. What is meant by intercellular spaces? If it is like this, if it is a cell. So here it is having these are all cells. So there is a gap between the one cell to cell. So it is nothing but the intracellular spaces. Intracellular spaces. Can you see here any intracellular spaces? No, which means meristematic tissue doesn't have the intracellular spaces. So is the meristematic tissue having the intracellular spaces? No, meristematic tissue doesn't have the intracellular spaces. And also it doesn't have the vacuole also. What is the storage, what is the function of the vacuole, children? The function of the vacuole is storage. What I am saying till now, so meristematic tissue is nothing but the actively dividing cells. So if they are actively dividing, what is the point of storage, right? There is no point of storage. They are dividing cells. Dividing cells require any storage? No, they do not require any storage. So that is why vacuoles are absent, mostly absent. If they present also, they are not well functioning. So here is the it is mainly of the divide of the vacuole only. And they have the thin cell wall made up of cytoplasm. There is a thin cell wall made up of cellulose, right, children? So and having the most prominently having the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm, what the function of the cytoplasm, children? In the dividing of the cells, the cytoplasm plays a very key role. That is why they are having the dense cytoplasm. Let's see, children. Here is the occurrence, growing regions of the plants, presenting of the, which regions the meristematic tissue is present? In the growing regions of the plant. What are they? There are the roots and shoots, right? The shape of the meristematic tissue is maybe of the meristematic cells, maybe the shapes of the spherical also, oval also, rectangular also. It is maybe of either any shapes. It is maybe of spherical, oval or rectangular. And intercellular spaces are absent. We already know about that. So intercellular spaces are totally absent. And the vacuoles are also absent. If it is present also, they do not have any specific function. If they are not well developed. And they are actively dividing cells. Meristematic cells are also called as actively dividing cells, right? And having the dense cytoplasm. That is why they are actively dividing cells. By the help of the cytoplasm only the division of the cells is happening, right? So here is they are having the dense cytoplasm. And the cell wall is made up of thin cellulose. Cell wall having very thin it is made up of, and it is made up of the cellulose. It having cell wall is very thin. Coming to the nucleus is prominent. For the actively dividing cells, the nucleus should be the prominent, right? So they are, cell division is rapid. They are actively dividing cells. In that only the division of cells is happening. That is why cell division is very rapid. It is present in the regions of because of the growth. The primary growth is happening because of the meristematic tissue. The primary growth of the plants is happening is because of the meristematic tissue, right? Let's see this now. So here is given the definition, children. Meristematic tissue is the plant tissue that ability to divide actively throughout its life. So meristematic tissue is a plant tissue that has ability to divide actively through its life. Is it having the, for the animals at a certain period of time, they will grow height. For plants not like that. Sometimes they are in their lifetime the branches will grow and the width of the plant growth will be seen and the height of the plant growth will be seen because having the meristematic tissue in the plants. So meristematic tissue contain living cells within varied shapes. There may be of varied shapes. What are they? Spherical, it is maybe spherical, oval or polygonal. So they possess large nucleus. Of course, they are having the large nucleus because they are actively dividing cells. The nucleus is must to for the division, for the cell division, the nucleus should be must. So that is a prominent nucleus is there. So divide of the vacuole. Is there is any function to have the vacuole? No, because what is the function of vacuole, children? It is storage. The function of the vacuole is storage. So as they are actively dividing cells, what is the role of the storage is there? So what is the function of storage there? They are utilizing it, no. So there is no point of storing. That is why they are divided of the vacuole. There doesn't have no intracellular spaces. Can we see the any intracellular intracellular spaces in the diagram? No. That is why there is no intracellular space present in the meristematic tissue. The zone where these cells exist known as meristem. The place where these cells are present, we call it as also called as meristem. So the cells of the meristematic tissue divide actively to form the specialized structures such as buds of the leaves. So buds of leaves arises because of the intercalary meristem, right? So and the flowers, tips of the roots, shoots, tips of the roots and shoots is because of the happening of the actively dividing cells of apical meristem, right? These cells help to increase the length and width of the plant. All the meristematic tissue function is what is, children? What was the function of the meristematic tissue? To grow the height and width of the plant. It is a primary growth of the plant is due to the because of the meristematic tissue, children. After when this meristematic tissue lose ability to divide, it becomes a permanent tissue, right? That permanent tissue having the specific role, they are having the specific structure, function, and specific function is there, structural, and it is having the specific size. So in the but the meristematic tissue doesn't having the it doesn't have any specific function. So these are actively dividing cells. Coming to the next, see. So they have the thin cell walls because they have thin primary cell walls made up of cellulose. Of course, we know about it. So if they asked what are the statements you are going to write about why the thin cell walls, because they have the thin primary cell walls made up of cellulose, making them flexible for the division. For the for the flexibility, the cell wall is thin, children. And the small, of course there it is the small and having the dense cytoplasm because the cell, the cells have large nucleus involves in the, there is no, vacuoles or maybe they are devoid of the vacuole. If they are present also they are minimal in growth. They are not involved in the, any, because the vacuole doesn't have any function in the meristematic tissue. That is why they mostly, they lack of vacuoles only. If they are present also they do not have any specific great function. So to support rapid division cytoplasm also will be there, and lack of specialized structures, there is no specialized structures. So they do not have fully developed chloroplast is not there, vacuoles are not there, and others any special organelles also is not there. You see here the diagram, is there any other cell organelles are there in these cells? No, there is no well developed specialized cell organelles are not there here, right children? So that is why the lack of specialized cell organelles also. They closely packed cells. They are also called as closely packed cells because there is in no intercellular spaces. There is no presence of any intracellular spaces. So ensuring efficient cell division, that makes the cell division faster. And they are small undifferentiated cells because they do not have any specialized structure also. So the cells are immature and not having any specialized cell organelles also not there. That is why they are small undifferentiated cells. If they are differentiated, what we call it? We call it as a permanent tissue. If they are differentiated, we call it as a, what is meant differentiated, children? Which having the qualitative changes, size, function, having the specific role, that we call it as a differentiation. So when these meristematic cells lose ability to divide, then it is going to convert the permanent tissue. They have the specific role and function, right? So high nucleocytoplasmic ratio, because of the cytoplasm only, the actively the cell division is happening. The nucleus is large relatively to the cytoplasm, indicating the cell division. And coming to the location, there are found in the three regions, root tips and shoot tips. That meristematic tissue we call it as apical meristem, and if they are present in the parallel sides, which means the side of the plant, we call it as the lateral meristem. If it is present in the base of the lamina of the leaves, buds, branches, arising areas, that we call it as intercalary meristem, right? They have pluripotency. What is meant by pluripotency, children? when the cells have ability to differentiate, when they have the, when they are differentiated, they form the permanent tissue, which means the cells are able to differentiate to various types of permanent tissue. This meristematic tissue only leads to the formation of permanent tissue, right? So this is what about the very detailed, about the meristematic tissue, children. I hope you all clear about this. Don't worry, please, again watch the class, then you will get to know about very clearly, right? So here, see children, so here it is there are three types of apical meristems are there. What is, meristematic tissues of three types. What are they? Apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. So here is the, see children, so here is the location. What is the location of the apical meristem? Found at the tips and roots of the plant. So apical meristem, found at the tips of roots and shoots. And what is the function of it? So responsible for primary growth. When you have, when the seed is, when the seed in the soil, the first arising part is what, children? The roots and also the shoot. So for how the plant is arising, because there is the presence of actively dividing cells. Those actively dividing cells we call it as meristematic tissue, right children? Because of that meristematic tissue is because the plants are arising. We can see the growth of the plant, right? So which meristematic tissue present in that? Nothing but apical meristematic tissue present in that. It is responsible for primary growth increasing in length and the formation of new organs like leaves and also flowers. Mainly the shoot and the root is happening because of the arising of the from the seed, shoot or root is happening because of the apical meristem. Coming to the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem involves in the growth, horizontal growth. For the horizontal growth, the lateral meristem plays an important role. Here is, see, what is the location? Present along the sides of the stems and the roots. It present on the stems, and it is sides of the stems and also roots. So the width of the root also sometimes you see if the big plants. So giant plants, what we can see that the roots are also very bigger, right? Because roots are also having the lateral meristem, that also involves in the growth. Why the formation of roots into having the lateral meristem? Because they have to penetrate into the soil, right? And that is why they have to fix the soil. They have to they have to stuck, they have to take the so they have to firmly attach it to the soil because of the tissue which is helps in it is lateral meristem. The function is responsible for secondary growth, increase in girth and thickness. What are the examples? It is a vascular cambium and core cambium. You are going to learn about this, what is a vascular cambium and core cambium in the front classes, children. Don't worry about that. So mainly keep in mind that lateral meristem present in the sides of the plant, So coming to the intercalary meristem, it is found in the base of the nodes. It is the base of the nodes. What is node, children? If it is a plant, if you have seed like this, it is a nodes. There in the nodal regions only the leaves or branches or the fruits will be arises. So that we call it as a nodes. In between region we call it as an internodal region. The elongation is happening because of the intercalary meristem found at the base of the nodes and internodes, leaf bases, especially in monocots like grasses. So mainly we can see the growth of the grasses because of the intercalary meristem. The function which helps in the regrowth of the lost parts. If the if you pluck the leaf from the plant, or else animals they grazes the grasses like that, right? No, if they graze, how they can regrowth is happening due to the because of the intercalary meristem. It contributes the elongation in certain plants. So these meristematic tissue help in the continuous growth and regeneration in plants. So children, so in the intercalary meristem, if the it helps also in the regeneration of the plant growth, and this continues the growth and regrowth of the plant is also due to the meristematic tissue. In that it is intercalary meristem. I hope you all clear about this today's session, children. So what we discussed? So we discussed about the cells. So just group of cells makes the tissue. Group of tissues make the organs. Organs makes the organ system. Organ system makes the organism. This is the level of hierarchy of the organization of the organism, children. And then after the organization of the organism, so we are mainly discussing about the tissue. So tissues are of in the plants are mainly two types. What are they? Meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. So what is meristematic tissue? Which places it is present? It is present in the growing regions. So mainly the primary growth of the plant is due to the meristematic tissue only, right? Because it present in the root tips and shoot tips. It is the presence what we call which meristematic tissue, that is children? That is apical meristematic tissue. If it is present in the sides, it is a lateral meristematic tissue, and if it is in the if it is present in the bases of the nodes or the erasing of the buds, branches, what that meristematic tissue children? Intercalary meristem. Mainly intercalary meristem involves in the regeneration of the lost parts. If the herbivores grazes the grasses, so how again the regeneration happening in the grasses? Because of the intercalary meristem. I hope you all clear about this today's session children. If you have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section. So what are the characteristic features of the meristematic cell children? Is they having the vacuole? No. Mainly the vacuole and specialized structures, specialized cellular or in organelles are not there. If there is no well developed chloroplast, vacuoles are absent. If they are present also, they don't have any great function, right? So they are actively dividing cells, as they don't have any specialized structures, if they have also they don't have the prominent function. So that we call it as children undifferentiated cells. That is why meristematic tissue is also called as undifferentiated immature cells. But they are involved in the actively dividing cells. They are actively dividing cells, which means the cell division is rapid. That is why to the flexibility, they are having the thin cell wall. So the cell wall is made up of cellulose. If there is any intercellular spaces in the meristematic tissue children, there is no intercellular spaces in between the meristematic cells. That is why, so they don't have the, why? Because they don't have the many intercellular spaces children, because they are actively dividing cells, they are actively participating in the rapid division, they involves in the rapid division, right? So this is what about the meristematic tissue children. There are of three types. One is apical, lateral and intercalary. I hope you all clear about this today's session children. Let's solve some of the questions here. See, we'll solve 2 to 3 questions, and tomorrow I will going to discuss about the activity children. It is very interesting. So here they asked which of the following is not a characteristic of a meristematic tissue. They are asking which is not a characteristic feature. So what is the characteristic features of the meristematic tissue children? They don't have intracellular spaces, right? So and they are actively dividing cells and having the thin cell walls. So they are actively dividing cells. Of course it is correct. It is not a characteristic feature or not? No, it is a characteristic feature of the meristematic tissue. They are asked what is not the characteristic feature of the meristematic tissue, right? So they are actively dividing cells and they have the thin cell walls. Of course, yes, made up of cellulose. Made up of cellulose. They have the last central vacuole. Is they having the last central vacuole children? No, because there is no point of function of the vacuole there. They are actively dividing cells. What is the function of the vacuole? Storage, right? If the storage is there, what is the point of storage? They are utilizing for the cell division, right? So that is why it is not a characteristic feature of meristematic tissue. And they are having the dense cytoplasm. Of course, they are having the dense cytoplasm. With the help of the dense cytoplasm involves in the cell division. For the active rapid cell division, cytoplasm is required, right? So that is why what is they are asking, what is not a characteristic feature of meristematic tissue, right? What is not a characteristic feature of meristematic tissue? It is a last central vacuole is not the characteristic feature of meristematic tissue. I hope you all clear children. So coming to the next question, the meristematic tissue is responsible for the increase in length of the plant is called. They are asking they are involved in the responsible for the increase in the length of the plant is called. They are asking the length of the plant. Is the lateral meristem is involved in the length of the plant? No, because it is present in the sides of the plant. It involves the girth, right? So apical meristem. Is the apical meristem is present in the root tips and shoot tips. It increases in the length. It involves in the plant is growing. The primary growth of the plant is happening due to the apical meristem, because it is present in the root tips and also shoot tips. That is why the answer is apical meristem. So let's see the intercalary meristem. It is present in the base of the leaves, nodes of the leaves. the branches, nodes, flowers is arranged due to the intercalary meristem. And it is a permanent tissue, they are saying. Is a permanent tissue? No, because when the meristematic tissue lose ability to divide, then it becomes the permanent tissue. The permanent tissue having the specific role, specific function and the specific structure. Right children? Is the meristematic tissue are immature cells, but the permanent tissue are mature cells. Okay children? Because they are having the specific role. So that is why they are asking the responsible in the increasing of the length. For this question, the answer is apical meristem. The primary growth of the length is seen due to the meristematic tissue. Which meristematic tissue children? Apical meristematic tissue, because the apical meristematic tissue present in the root tips and also shoot tips. I hope you all clear children, and let's do some other questions in the tomorrow session. I hope you all clear about this session. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section. I will clear you all your doubts. And before I am winding up the class children, I would like to announce very important news for you. Here we are conducting the foundation summer camp children in the span of 15 days. In the first 10 days we are going to discussing about the which are core concepts of NEET and JEE, and the next 2 days we are going to deal with the activity based learning, and the 13th day we are going to conduct the quiz. In the quiz you can check analyze your performance before and after. And coming to the 14th day children, we are conducting the cumulative assessment of all subjects we are dealing with it. So what we are dealing the subjects of physics, chemistry, biology and mathematics. Coming to the last day children, we are providing the career guidance program by one-on-one interaction. So if you have a dream, we don't know how to achieve, we don't know what path you have to choose. So we will analyze all the or what kind of exams there and all that we will discuss with you, and we analyze your performance. We will say what kind of exams, different examinations are there, you can go through of it and all that. So it is very important children. The 15th day, the mode of learning is through digital panel, and we are creating amazing videos to get to the concept to be understood for you, and it is both offline also and online also. For offline people, you can happily come to our institute name called NEETWORLD, present in Narayani Ma'am, Hyderabad. And who are joining through online children, please contact with the below number, and we will provide you all information about our institution, and also will give access in our app name called MedWorld. There you can happily access our classes. And very important news, the first 1 week class are absolutely free. There is no need to pay at least 1 rupee in the span of this 1 week. So it is very golden opportunity for you children. And another more very important news children, tomorrow onwards we are starting the long term NEET and JEE courses children. So by the NEET and JEE long term courses children, you are going to it is a limited offer. You are going to access another classes also children, TGA, EAPCET, EAPCET, KSAT, ICAR, BITSAT, all type of examinations you will get by access of one long term course children. So you can happily enjoy these classes. It is a very limited offer for you, and if you have any sisters, brothers, please let them inform them and contact with us. We will give you the access in our classes. It is both offline also. NEET long term, we are having hostel facility also children for the NEET long term course and NEET and JEE long term courses. And if you can't come here, if you are 12th standard people, you are going to have the course along with your 12th standard. So we have the online access also. If you have any doubts, if you want to the demo classes, please let us know, or else demo classes are also available in YouTube session also. Please go through it and contact with us. We will provide other information also. It is very useful for you. I hope you all understand today's session children. Let's meet in the tomorrow session. So tomorrow we will discuss about the experiment of the meristematic tissue. So this is what about today. So this is Narayani. I am signing off. Thank you.